Hi, this is Matthew. I'm going to talk about the next Rolling Stones album in '94 called Voodoo Lounge. But before that, there are things before and after it I want to talk about briefly. I'm only doing the ones that Wikipedia shows me as the next album, so I'm not doing. There's other streaming digital ones that I'm not covering. There's just too many of those to cover, especially in the live category. Just doing the ones Wikipedia shows as officially like albums or whatever. In between, of course, this album, 91, I guess Bill Wyman leaves. They don't announce it until 93, however. But he lived in 91. In 92, something cool happened related to the band. They had an IMAX concert. Yes, you heard me right. Go big or go home, I guess. They have an IMAX concert. It was called The Stones Live at the Max. I remember, I didn't know what it was called. I remember the trailer for it. In 92, in the summer, me and my family went to Chicago. And I think I'd seen an IMAX theater before in St. Louis. I think the Planetarium had one, I think. But the Museum of Science and Industry, I believe, in Chicago had an IMAX. I think it was there. We did go back there twice. Saw a couple of IMAX movies there, but there was a trailer for this very thing. I knew a little bit, some of their songs, whatever the oldies stations were playing, because classic rock I didn't encounter until 95. But I was an oldies person by then. And I saw this and would love to have seen it and talked about it. I wish we could see it and when was it on. And I believe it was after we were there, so I didn't get to see it. So I don't know how good it is. I'm hoping the library can find it for me. It did come out on VHS and DVD and Blu-ray and stuff, so it's out there. It might be a digital version I can get. I don't know. I'm just going to go over the songs briefly. It's mostly what they covered in the Steel Wheels tour. So it's that kind of Steel Wheels. I did hear the tracks off of that live album. They were very good from 91, High Wire and we lost the name of the other one, the James Brown disco funky one, Sex Drive. Those were good. I did enjoy those. I listened to those after I did this real quick to catch up to that. Now we'll go to this IMAX one. We'll talk about that one. I hope it's good. It's been revived a couple times, so you might be able to find it somewhere. I'm not going to read the venues just because there's a whole bunch of them, I think. We had Continental Drift, Start Me Up, Sad, 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 Tumbling Dice, Ruby Tuesday, Rockin' a Hard Place, Honky Tonk Women, You Can't Always Get What You Want, Happy, Painted Black. Happy was not on the other album, so that's kind of cool to see. 2000 Light Years From Home, that wasn't either. Sympathy for the Devil, Street Fighting Man, It's Only Rock and Roll But I Like It, neither was that. Brown Sugar, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. So you had 16, tracks taken from various performances. I think they had different angles for different shows, all kinds of stuff. I would love to see this thing. Has anyone seen it? Was it kind of cool to see in the IMAX back in the day, or have you seen it since in its kind of restored form, high definition form? They did that. And then 93, ABKCO / Alan Klein, whatever you want to call it, did their shenanigans again and put out another compilation called Jump Back. Let me go and find that really fast. And briefly to mention just what was on. Yeah, Jump Back, the best of the Rolling Stones, 71 to 93, basically. So Sticky Fingers all the way up to Steel Wheels, essentially. Not streamable, don't know where it is, can't find it easily. Not in the compilations. You can't search for it on Apple Music. Not in the compilations area. I checked again. Not there. But we'll go over it briefly. We start out with Start Me Up. Brown Sugar. Harlem Shuffle. It's Only Rock and Roll But I Like It. Mixed Emotions. Angie, which is a great tune. Very much, it seems to be very much a hodgepodge of just different songs, no order. Tumbling Dice, Fool to Cry. Oh, the version from the Sucking in the 70s compilation, apparently. Rockin' Hard plays the single version of that one. It's maybe a little shorter than the Steel Wheels one. Miss You. Apparently it's the album cut. Not the single according to Wikipedia. The little article before all the tracks here. Hot Stuff, the edit from Sucking in the 70s. Emotional Rescue. Respectable. Not a bad set, this. Beast of Burden, the version from Sucking in the 70s, which is an edited down one. Waiting on a Friend. Wild Horses. Bitch. Undercover of the Night. So this would not be an ABCO, I'm sorry. This would be a Stones one because it has all these later tracks on it. So that would have been this would have been like the I think this would have gone through Virgin Records technically. I think this might have gone through them. And that is all. So yeah, I take that back. I'm sorry, it's not an ABCO. My bad. That is definitely a Rolling Stones like one because it has all of the. It's 71 onwards, even with some of the things that Klein owns, technically. But yeah, that's that. Not a bad set if you're just kind of if you like that period. I don't need the earlier tracks of that moment, but if you didn't have some of the Steel Wheel stuff and some of the later tracks, you've got to. Would you get some of those if you didn't have some of the albums at the time you were missing? Or you're a completist like I am. When I really like a band, I want everything I can find by them. So, yeah, this would be a one to grab if you were looking for it. Then we'll jump all the way to 94 the next year and talk about Voodoo Lounge, which is what I'm here to talk about anyway. The next album in order, but wanted to briefly kind of mention that those were out there. There we are with Voodoo Lounge. I forget the fill-in guitarist's name. He's not a full band member, but they, have some, like kind of contract guys or whatever. People that keep around for like touring and studio albums and such. But yeah, very much kind of back to basics again. It's kind of what the producer guy they brought in to help wanted, and Mick Jagger was a little bit like, I want more, but pretty solid album. Did fairly well in the UK. Had some top 40 charters. Did not perform well here. Several were rock hits, but they didn't go into the top 40. They didn't quite do as well as a lot of them have. So not as well received here in the pop area, but rock stations loved it. Had some hits from it. Did pretty well there, but not top 40 stuff in the UK, but not here. I thought it was a pretty solid album. Mick Jagger's voice has definitely changed in the 5 years in between albums. Very much not quite as Mick Jagger-ish as he once was. Still sounding pretty good though. We start out with. Of course, we're no longer doing sides because it's mostly CDs at this point. Some cassettes are still around, but no side designations now. Love is Strong opens it. You Got Me Rocking. Sparks Will Fly. The Worst. New Faces. Lots of good guitar solos and things on this album I kind of enjoyed. Moon Is Up. Out of Tears, followed by I Go Wild. Brand New Car. Sweethearts Together. Suck on the Jugular. What a name for a song. Blinded by Rainbows. That was kind of cool. Baby Break It Down. Through and Through. And then 15, Mean Disposition. 14 for sure was Keith Richards. I don't remember if he had any other vocals. We'll find out. I knew it for sure he was on 14. Oh, Mean Disposition was only on the CD 94, but it's on the vinyl. But it's on the streaming version, so it's definitely still included. I'm not sure why that's indicated. And there's an anniversary album in last year in 24, so it's definitely on the streaming Apple Music version that I heard. So it's definitely still on there. It's a track, so I don't think it's going anywhere. Mick Jagger played lead vocals and backing vocals and guitar. So yeah, so on track 4, he's I think Keith Richards did and harmonica. Can't forget, and percussion. Can't forget that. So multi-instrumental band here. Keith Richards on guitars and backing vocals and lead vocals and tambourine and bass and piano. All busy people. Yeah. Ronnie Wood on guitars and pedal steel and lap steel guitars and backing vocals. Yeah, there are some country flavored tracks on here. Charlie Watts on drums and percussion. Additional people: Daryl Jones bass. That's the new kind of unofficial bass player now. He's with them for years and years and years after this. Chuck Leavell on Wurlitzer piano and piano. Chuck Leavell in harpsichord and harmonium. Chuck Leavell, I think, also was a guy that kept around. And a Hammond V3 organ, which I love, and backing vocals. I love Hammond V3s. That's cool. Bernard Feller on backing vocals again from just like last album. Ricky Gabbett on fiddle. Oh, and penny whistle. Yeah, there's some penny whistle on here. Mark Isham on trumpet. Luis Jordan on percussion and shaker. Fico Jimenez on accordion. Phil Jones percussion. David McGarry on sax. Ivan Neville on backing vocals. Hammond V3 organ. Ben Montench also Hammond V3 organ and Hammond C3 organ and piano and accordion. There's a Hammond C3? What is the difference? Does anyone know what the sound difference is on? I didn't know there was a C3. Oh, Bobby Womack on backing vocals. That's cool. He's back again. Max Baga Bejo Sexto? What is the world is that? The Castro on percussion. Pierre de Beauport on acoustic guitar. David Campbell on string arrangements. Yeah, that's quite a few different people on that. That's lots of interesting instruments happening on here in places. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. We're definitely not making a lot of hits these days, but still, I think a very good album. Well received by a lot of people. A good album to have, but we have some additional things to talk about. One related to this and another thing that happened earlier that I mentioned briefly and was going to come back to, and now I can come back to it. We'll go to 95, though. They put out an acoustic version, kind of live tracks from this tour for Voodoo Lounge called Stripped. And there's been some Totally Stripped and some other versions of that have been released over the years in a documentary. And we have some acoustic tracks here and some 8 studio versions they're all acoustic versions. The regular edition had the following: Street Fighting Man in Amsterdam. Like a Rolling Stone, the Bob Dylan cover was at the Brixton Academy in London. Yeah, these are all kind of smaller venue, because they're laid back acoustic stuff. Don't need as much venue space. Not Fade Away was in Portugal. Shine a Light was in Paris. The Spider and the Fly was in Tokyo at the EMI Studios in Tokyo, of all places. Yeah, they did some smaller gigs here. I'm Free was in Lisbon, Portugal again. Red Horses was at EMI in Tokyo. Let It Bleed, it was in Paris. Dead Flowers was in Brixton Academy. Slipping Away was at EMI in Tokyo. Angie was in Paris. Live in Vain was at EMI Studios in Tokyo. Sweet Virginia in Lisbon, Portugal. Little Baby at the EMI Studios. The Toshiba EMI Studios, to be exact, if that's still the case. I'm not positive if they still have some ownership of that. There's an outtake thing as well. Honest Idea was from the Hope Phobes soundtrack at EMI Studios. Out on the Line was from the used on the Like a Rolling Stones single from that live track. A Black Limousine was also from the Rolling Stones single. Give Me Shelter was from the Wild Horses single. Tumbling Dice also from the Wild Horses single. It was a stage rehearsal. Live With Me was also the Wild Horses single also. It's All Over Now was in Paris. It was an e-download only. So you would have had an internet connection at the time to get that track at some stage. Some other ones that kind of are circulating studio-wise are Let's Spend the Night Together, No Expectations, Beast of Burden, Memory Motel, Let It Bleed. And there is a totally stripped live edition from 2016. It had Not Fade Away, Honky Tonk Women, Dead Flowers, Faraway Eyes, Shine a Light, I Go Wild, Miss You, Like a Rolling Stone, Brown Sugar, Midnight Rambler. Nice. Doesn't give a length on that. How sad. I like to keep track of lengths of that very long, interesting song, but no time listing here, sadly. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Give Me Shelter, Rip This Joint, Street Fighting Man. The version that has the totally stripped documentary on it has the following. Some interviews and rehearsals and stuff. Love in Vain, Spider on the Fly. So yes, you want a video version. Here's a way to get a video version of this concert. Or this tour. Wild Horses, Let It Bleed. There's one from Amsterdam itself. We have Down at the Bottom, Tumbling Dice, Not Fade Away, Dead Flowers, Give Me Shelter, Paris Had, You Got Me Rocking, I Go Wild, Shine a Light, Jumpin' Jack Flash. The Brixton Academy had the following tunes from London. I Can't Get Next to You, Ooh, Temptations, I'm assuming. Honky Tonk Women, Faraway Eyes, Like a Rolling Stone. The second disc of this kind of Blu-ray DVD set has Not Fade Away, It's All Over Now, Live With Me, Let It Bleed, The Spider on the Fly, Beast of Burden, Angie, Wild Horses, Sweet Virginia, Dead Flowers, Shine a Light, Like a Rolling Stone, Connection, Slipping Away, The Worst, Give Me Shelter, All Down the Line, Respectable, Rip This Joint, Street Fighting Man. Our third disc was from Paris on this Uber box set thing with the Blu-rays and stuff on it. Honky Tonk Women, Tumbling Dice, You Got Me Rocking, All Down the Line, Shattered, Beast of Burden, Let It Bleed, Angie, Wild Horses, Meet Me at the Bottom, Shine a Light, Like a Rolling Stone, I Go Wild, Miss You, Connection, Slipping Away, Midnight Rambler, Rip This Joint, Start Me Up, It's Only Rock and Roll But I Like It, Brown Sugar, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Our fourth one, the Brixton Academy show, Honky Tonk Women, Tumbling Dice, You Got Me Rocking, Live With Me, Black Limousine, Dead Flowers, Sweet Virginia, Faraway Eyes, Love in Vain, Down at the Bottom, Shine a Light, Like a Rolling Stone, Monkey Man, that's a new one, I Go Wild, Miss You, Connection, Slipping Away, Midnight Rambler, Rip This Joint, Start Me Up, Brown Sugar, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and again, no timing on Midnight Rambler. How sad. People on this tour, we had besides our Stones, of course, we have Mick on lead vocals and harmonica, guitar, and maracas. Keith Richards guitar, backing vocals, and lead vocals. And Slipping Away, he sings that one. Ronnie Wood at guitar and lap slide guitars. Charlie Watts on drums. Our additional people here, we had Daryl Jones on bass and backing vocals on Slipping Away. Chuck Leavell on keyboards and backing vocals. Lisa Fisher backing vocals. Bernard Fowler backing vocals and percussion. Bobby Keys on sax again. He's back. Michael Davis on trombone. I play trombone. Thank you, Michael Davis, for your horn work. That's awesome. Ken Smith on trumpet. Annie Switzer on saxophone. Don Woods on Hammond V3 organ. I think he's kind of the producer guy that they brought in. They kind of Mick disagreed with his album direction a bit, but it's okay. It's still pretty solid. And that is all of those guys. And then we'll circle back to Rock and Roll Circus again, because they did that at the time of Beggar's Banquet. They wanted to have just an interesting kind of a circus almost concept with themselves and friends. The Stones didn't like their performances a bit. The Who were so much better than they were, they thought. They shelved it. Thought the thing was missing. Found part of it in Ian Stewart's stuff at his house when he passed away. And then they found more of it later. I forget where it came from. But in 96, this comes out on VHS. There's an album. It's been on DVD and Blu-ray also. I think it was a theatrical release in 19, I think of it. And a few different things like that. So we can finally talk about Rock and Roll Circus after all this time. It was kind of like this long-lost thing, and it finally comes out. But we will go through the track listing here. I pulled up the album. I saw the movie version of video on PBS, I think it was. It wasn't a pledge drive. I looked, and it just happened to be on, and I caught it. Several years ago now. 4, 5, 6 years ago? Not quite sure. But I caught it one night. It was pretty cool to watch. John Lennon and Yoko Ono were there. Eric Clapton's there. The Who were there. The Stones are there. Marianne Faithfull was in another group. I forget. Some of the Stones and Clapton stuff make a group called, I forget what it was called. Taj Mahal was also there. So there's a whole slew of different people playing different stuff. I think it's been released over the years. We'll see what's on the album here and see how detailed this one gets. Side 1 at the time would have had Mick Jagger's introduction for the whole thing. And then we have Entry of the Gladiators, Julius Fubic. I don't know who that is. And then we have, I'm not sure what that was. I can't remember what that is. Mick Jagger introduces Jethro Tull. Yes, they're there. Then we have a song for Jeffrey Jagger with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull. I love Jethro Tull. They're great. Keith Richards introduces The Who after that. And then The Who does a quick one while he's away. Pete Townsend on vocals, of course. Over the Waves, Juventina Rosas. I don't know who that is. Side 2. Ain't a Lot of Love, Howard Banks and Willie Dean Parker. Oh, that's Taj Mahal. Okay. Great stuff. Yeah, they have a lot of cool horns and whatnot. Charlie Watts introduces Marianne Faithfull, and she does Something Better with Jerry Goffin and Barry. Oh, that's the song. Okay. Something Better. Those are the writers. Okay, I see how this works now. Mick Jagger and John Lennon introduced the Dirty Mac. That's the little made-up band they did for this show. And they do Your Blues, the Beatles cover. So that would be kind of cool. I forget what that was like, but I'll have to go track this down again, because it was kind of a neat concept that finally got to see the light of day finally, so as a kind of movie. Hula Yoko with Yoko Ono. You can make your opinions as to her vocal abilities and such. at the time. She was very much with John Lennon. They did some singing and different weird sound effect albums and things. It was an interesting period. They were just kind of really starting to be a thing relationship wise. So all the Dirty Mac, Yoko Ono, and Edward Gittles, whoever that is, were performing this song. Side 3, because it was a vinyl stuff of this. We have John Lennon. John Lennon introduces the Rolling Stones. They do Jumping Jack Flash and Parachute Woman and No Expectations. You can always get what you want. That's the one they were not happy with at that point. That's why it got shelved to begin with. But then we also have on the same show here, Simply for the Devil that they did. Salt of the Earth, which I've never heard that one. This does stream, by the way, so you can get to this. You can hear this on streaming for sure. On Apple Music. Might be available other places in movie form. Oh, Salt of the Earth is from Beggar's Banquet with new vocals on it. Yes, and different. It's like the original backing stuff, but with new vocals on the top. Our bonus tracks from 2019's version, though, we have the following. Quote-unquote Side 5. Checking Up on My Baby, Taj Mahal did, because they're a blues band pretty much. Leaving Trunk, with Taj Mahal again, and the Garuna, there's Taj Mahal. Side 6, quote-unquote, is going to be Revolution, that the Dirty Mac did. So another Beatles cover that those guys all got to be in on. Warm Up Janin with John Lennon, Keith Richards, and Eric Clapton, and a guy named Mitch Mitchell, which of course is the Dirty Mac band that they made up with. Your Blues Again, I take 2 of it, so they another stab at that song. Brian Jones introduced to Julius Ketchum. Also, another reason this was shelved because Brian Jones died, so they had shelved it again because of that. So that was another reason. That person did Ritual Fire Dance. That's what that person did. Sonata in C First Movement. Iris Ketchum, so a related, maybe they're husband and wife or some kind of relation. And that is it. So an interesting little hodgepodge. There may be other things that were not on here. You might check out the movie, The Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. Check out the album. Kind of a cool thing. Finally got issued for the first time ever at that point. It's out there in the great wide world. So you can get to it like I did on PBS when they showed it locally here. Hopefully they'll show it again. Maybe check around pledge drive time, and just if they're going to show any concerts, you might look and see if they're going to show it. You might check the PBS video app too. I don't know if they keep that kind of thing. I don't know about Passport. I have that part. I don't know. I donate to my local station. They might have it there. I haven't looked. I don't often look for. I'm usually looking for like British shows. I don't always look for music like I should. Well, they've got quite an archive of Austin City Limits. If you're looking for that, anybody from the last 4 or 5 years. But this was not included on Austin City Limits, so I don't know. I don't look for it. I don't know if they keep the pledgy stuff after a while. They do for a time, I think. Then I think they get rid of them. But yeah, you might check streaming services or digital purchases. You might be able to find them on eBay or someplace on a Blu-ray or something, or VHS or DVD. I don't know if they had a Laserdisc. They might have. They didn't mention that, but those 3 for sure. I don't know about a Laserdisc copy. That was still fairly big then. It was declining for sure, but There might be a Laserdisc copy somewhere. I'm not positive, but yeah, that's kind of a rough thing of what's happening from album to album. And in the interim, then we'll go to 97 with Bridges to Babylon. I don't know what I'm going to do here because there is such a gap between the next album. So I know I'll at least talk about the 40 Licks collection. I don't know what else I will look for. I'll kind of look at that in a little bit and see my plan of action for the next video, because I don't know what I'm going to do. As you go from 97, and I think, till fairly recently, was Blue and Lonesome. So there's going to be a huge gap of time. But 40 Licks has some new tracks on it for sure. I will at least mention that. I may have to kind of overview other albums. I'll look in a little bit and see what it shows for that time period and see what I want to do. But that's all for this one. Good album anyway. Then we're going to move to the albums that I guess between Bridges of Babylon and Bigger Bang, there's not as big of a gap. So it's after Bigger Bang that I'm going to have to kind of figure that out. But not there yet. But we'll get there. That'll do it for now. I will see you guys in another video.